Ugh, y'all, I don't even know. I think my hair's falling out. All right. Oh, my darling husband. You are the only one that's here, and we are cooking to each other inside the house. Do you have anything to share today with me as I sit outside? Because our house is an insane, crazy loud place. This may be the only way that we can have like a real conversation without being interrupted. All right. So, 2 minutes in, I haven't actually really said anything yet, so I guess I'll get started. And anybody who joins or time can gain, I guess, or contribute. What this week has proved to me and to, I think, all of us is that what I've been saying for years, but nobody knows what the hell they're doing. We're all just making as we go along and trying to figure it out and trying to, do the best we can. I started thinking this morning a lot about the concept of radical acceptance. And radical acceptance means a lot of different things depending on where you are, depending on who is saying it, but ultimately it means the same thing. The same thing, and that is radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is the concept of, simply acknowledging where you are, what is happening, and accepting that this is reality. I think sometimes we think that, accepting something means condoning it or, making it okay. And that's not the case at all. It doesn't matter if it's okay or not. It doesn't matter if it's good or it's bad. It simply is. And by accepting and acknowledging what's occurring around us, and hello, my father and my husband are at the moment the only people who are watching this. I love you both very much. So I've been reading a lot this morning about radical acceptance, and I was reading a little excerpt from the book written by Tara Brach, who's a psychologist and a meditation expert, and she wrote a book called Radical Acceptance, and just a few lessons that I thought may be really meaningful, especially for right now, especially for those of us who, who I'm seeing over and over again in my feed, who are, parents and high achievers and goers who are finding this moment of sort of forced relaxation very difficult. And so here we go. Unworthiness and the human condition. And a lot of times we think about things and we don't, or things happening and we don't realize how they're connected to one another. And so this makes an interesting connection. As a young college student, Tara Brach, now a psychologist and meditation teacher, felt the perpetual harassment of her self-inflicted judgment. And I think we all can really understand that, at least, those of us in my circles. She pushed herself through rigorous academic demands, subjected herself to relentless nitpicking, and struggled with an addiction to food, all because of her deep-seated conviction that something was wrong with her. She mercilessly pushed herself to extreme to escape those feelings of inadequacy. Over the course of her career as a therapist in various meditation workshops that she led across the country, Brach came to realize that her enduring feelings of worthlessness were not unique to her. In all truth and honesty, that is the of the If You Could See Me project, is recognizing through the work that I was doing in personal narrative storytelling that I was not alone in the sort of prison that I had created inside of my own head, trying desperately to prove my worth and to make meaning out of a single thing that I came with. And so this really resonates with the work that we do here at the If You Could See Me project. The belief that something is wrong with oneself leads many distraught individuals to destructive behaviors, such as developing addictions or chasing toxic relationships. These feelings of basic inadequacy and fear of being flawed and unworthy are at the heart of human suffering. Contemporary Western culture, which prioritizes independence and self-reliance, does little to placate these fears. The aforementioned values reinforce the conviction. Hi, Beth. Hi, Jacob. Values reinforce the conviction that you must work harder, produce more, an endless succession of heights if you want to be seen as good enough. The competitive nature of academic and professional environments exacerbates this dilemma. And so she goes on to talk about some of the symptoms of this perceived inadequacy, which so many of us, hi Dwayne, so many of us engage in on a regular basis, and which many of us in this moment of sort of self quarantine or social distancing, or being forced by the function of the kind of shutting down around, we're not able to perpetually engage in this the hamster wheel, in the constant distraction of staying busy, permanently being focused on not sitting still and being in one place. Others can be the endless self-improvement, constantly trying to lose weight or fulfill some sort of expectation of perfection that we all feel led by. And it's different for everyone, whether it's a perfect, showplace of a home, or it's your weight, or it's your, the achievements of your children, or it's, whatever it is, we all are faced with these on a regular basis. Some of us, it becomes an ongoing distraction, and keeps us from really being able to sit with ourselves and practice that radical acceptance. Holding back, hi Lynn, holding back and playing it safe. The pain of inadequacy can cause us to have an unhealthy aversion to risk, or being afraid to take steps to move ourselves because we're unsure of what might happen. The fear of failure or humiliation or shame that is associated with fear that is associated with failure, keeps us stuck where we are. Withdrawal. This is one that I have a particular challenge with, is that when I do feel really overwhelmed right now, this is actually not too terrible for me, to be totally honest with you, not having to, be in 1,000 different places, except that I'm nervous about, the fact that there's some sort of unknown airborne, terrorist running around and we don't know who has it and who doesn't. But going inside of ourselves and pulling away and isolating ourselves in times when we feel overwhelmed or afraid. And then criticism. Criticism is a big one. Feelings of inadequacy might inspire you to become your own worst critic. And so in these moments where we don't have access to all of the regular distractions that we face, or that we get to be a part of on a regular basis, we can become, good morning, Donna. Donna, I'm reading from Radical Acceptance, a book by Tara Brach, who is one of my absolute favorite psychologists, thought leaders, and meditation teachers. And we're talking about the ways in which our feelings of inadequacy keep us stuck and keep us from being able to sit with ourselves and have quiet moments of acceptance of who we are and where we are. And instead, we're always fighting it, So these behaviors, last one is criticism, which, I often talk about in reference to Stephen Pressfield's concept of resistance and inspiration. And so anyone who's taken my classes or heard me speak in most places has heard me reference that. That we are often faced with, our body's inner critic, our brain's way of telling us that, we should just stay where we are because anywhere else is too scary and uncertain for us to want to tackle. And these are all used as opportunities to, oftentimes not even realizing it, avoid our own inadequacy, our own feelings of inadequacy. All of these behaviors are used as strategies for avoiding your feelings of inadequacy. They inevitably, Tara Brach says, make your pain even worse. Avoiding risks that lead to failure reinforces the conviction that you must be flawed to be valuable, right? An endless string of dieting schemes feeds the fear that you must somehow prove your value. Trying to impress other people only deepens those neural pathways that create your sense of inadequacy. Avoidance and escapism can't heal the deep-seated fear that you are somehow deficient. The only solution is radical acceptance. And that is, there's so much there. Acceptance is the key. And so there is next chapter that I just want to think about, and talk about broadly. It's called The Sacred Pause, because I think that we are right now in, a moment of forced pause, and we can use that tool of radical acceptance to open ourselves up to the sacredness of quiet and slowing down and worrying about every possible thing that could happen 18,000 miles down the road. Of course, I'm concerned about my children not being in school right now, and I'm concerned about them keeping up with the assignments that are assigned to them. But one of the things that I keep thinking about is that maybe this will be a grand opportunity for us to reevaluate and to think about what's really important in our lives, and maybe our children being so constantly overscheduled and pushed to operate beyond their developmental level, and a world in which they are constantly forced to compete for their own worthiness. Maybe that's something that we'll reevaluate in our kids and ourselves. I was in one of my classes a few months ago, and I did an exercise where I had them close their eyes and do a drawing. And there was so much anxiety about their drawings not being good, about them, that the kids, it was to be fun, and the kids couldn't even focus on it because some of them were near tears, afraid that they would make a mistake. And it was very telling to see these children in this space, not even able to have fun and make a messy drawing because they were afraid it wouldn't be perfect, and they were afraid of what that would mean about them and their abilities. And we can't continue enforcing that level of perfectionism and perfectionist expectations on our children without also expecting there to be, an increase in the mental health diagnoses and issues that we're seeing, like anxiety and depression and suicidality, because they're terrified of making a mistake. They're terrified that a mistake has some sort of implication about their value, and it simply doesn't. It simply doesn't. Acceptance space. In moments of turmoil, it demands that you step away from your reactive impulses and observe the emotions that make you want to punch a colleague or guzzle a bottle of vodka. Slowing down in these high-stress moments isn't easy, but it's essential for the process of making peace with your pain. To experience the necessary space for radical acceptance, begin a practice of taking a sacred pause. When your emotions feel overwhelmingly strong and you feel compelled to react, the sacred pause calls you to act. What might happen if, instead of rushing from one acting out behavior to the next, you took a moment to observe the events of your inner life? What if you spent a little time watching your emotions instead of simply reacting to them? Meditation is the space in which you can strengthen your sacred pause. It allows you to practice the action of stepping back from your thoughts rather than run with them. Think of meditation as your training gym. It's the space where you can strengthen your sacred pause muscles, so that you'll have them in times of need. If you can train yourself to simply pause and observe your emotions for 10 minutes a day, you'll be able to react in healthy ways to life's provocations. I'm going to pause there. I'm not going to spend this entire time reading to you, but instead just wanted to provide a space where we could share some of our experiences, our frustrations, our thoughts about what is, what is happening right now. Are you afraid? Are you concerned? Are you overwhelmed? Are you excited to get to be at home alone, not having to go out? How are you? Tell me how you are. I'm exhausted. I exhausted, in truth. I'm overwhelmed by the lack of structure in the day. I am worried about all of my people. I'm worried about my work. I'm worried about, what things look like after this. And so all of those things are true. All of those things are... Oh, hi, Melissa. Look at you. I missed that. There's a cool book called Stop, Smile, Breathe, Be that helps teach pausing. Easy read and understand. Thank you for that. Everybody check that out. Stop, Smile, Breathe, Be. I'll check it out and see if I can share it in our circles. Just being. Just being is really, I don't know about anybody else, but just being is hard for me. I am definitely one of those constantly moving people, one of those people who has, made a habit of doing all the things that Tara Brach is talking about, constantly trying to make myself better, constantly trying to, distract myself and keep moving and, and run away from my own, fears and insecurities. That has been sort of a lifelong endeavor. And I'm not sure that it ever will not be, but I think that taking these moments to really look inside of ourselves and ask ourselves good questions and become really aware of our emotions in the moment, name them, express them, and let ourselves and the world know that it's okay to have those feelings is a lesson that we can all really learn from, this experience. I am anxious. I am upside down a little bit. I'm afraid. Than anything of what I don't know and what this is all going to mean for all of us. And I don't like that uncertainty. And I am really trying to be honest with myself and with the world about that, because I think it's only fair, right? It's only fair. Does anybody have any or anything that is working for you right now to help you ease your anxiety, to help you manage the demands of not being in school, if that's something that is impacting your life? Resources to manage lost wages. Let's help each other. Let's support each other. And in the last 5 minutes or so of this, we will do a meditation. But in the meantime, let's provide opportunities for us to get together to build community in as many different ways as possible. No one's alone. You're not alone. In the beginning of this video, I talked about radical acceptance, and I'm not sure if, everyone here is, was here then, but I think it's worth restating that this concept of radical acceptance is not about condoning or saying things that are wrong or okay. It is a practice of accepting without judgment. That, it is what it is, whether we want it to be or not, whether we think it's right, whether we think it's fair. This is what's true. And so now we have to move forward this place based on the reality of the situation. And that means that as much as we try often to, control every aspect of our lives to make sure that we are prepared for any eventuality, sometimes we're not. Sometimes there's no way to be. And so fighting against something that we don't like is a surefire way of increasing the pain that it causes. And so I want to create as many spaces here for us to be able to be honest and share what's going on, talk about it, make each other laugh, make humor out of it, and create honest space. Say what you have to say, even if it's filled with curse words and you're pissed off about the situation. That's okay too. And then we'll move forward with radical acceptance, understanding that this is how I feel, and also this is, how it is. So I appreciate everybody joining me this morning. I know that 10 a.m. on a Sunday is a little bit easier than 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. So hopefully folks will be able to access this throughout the day and add to our conversation. Even if you're not here with us live, please add to our conversation. Tell us how you are coping in these moments. Tell us a joke. Give us some lateness and some joy, and help us to feel more connected in the process of practicing our radical acceptance. So I appreciate you all, and I'm going to do a 5-minute meditation that will give us all the opportunity to relax our and take some deep breaths and simply be in the moment together. Please join me if you are so inclined. There we go. All right. Find a comfortable spot. Right now I'm sitting outside in the beautiful sunshine. It's a little bit chilly. Taking a deep breath. Feel your body resting wherever you are, on the bed, on the floor, on a chair, on the sofa. Just feel your body sink into the space. Acknowledge any aches or pains. Breathe into those spaces, positive energy and light. In this moment, you have everything you need. In this moment, you are safe. You are in community. Connect with the sounds around you. Notice them without judgment. Maybe the kids are being too loud, or that is blaring. Those are simply aspects of your environment. Allow them, accept them without judgment. Return to your breath. Feel your muscles relaxing. Turn your face to the sun. Even if you're inside, turn your face to the light. Allow the light and all of its properties to wash over you. Light gives us warmth. It heals us. It provides perspective and love and joy. Allow the light to shine into you, absorb into every one of your pores, to wrap you in its warmth, to sustain you throughout the day in your anxiety, frustration, uncertainty. Let the light give you strength. Before you return to your life and your day, place your hand over your heart. Take a deep breath, and either out loud or to yourself, just say, I love you. Give yourselves as much grace as you can. Give the people around you as much grace as you can. Try to find peace where it's possible. Reach out if you need support to those in your circle, to me, to people in this group. We're in this together. Much love. Hang in there. We'll see you soon.